When I look at packaging, the first thing I think about is the label has to get the consumer to pick up the bottle and purchase it. It's the flavor that will get them to buy it the second time. So the packaging is everything, especially as you move out of your local area. Packaging is key. Packaging will determine your price. When I first started selling pesto, we sold it in an 8-ounce jar, and the only thing that was selling in the grocery store that was that expensive was a nice big juicy steak, and that just wouldn't do. It was too weird. It was too pricey, too new. So we went to a 4-ounce jar and dropped the price by a little bit, and it worked. So that's a good example of that. A current example is with the salts. We've been selling them in a 7-ounce jar for $6.50, and L&L Foods wants something in a shaker that's going to be a lot less, something that will get some volume moving in the accounts that they have. So demands on packaging can come from different areas. They can come from your distributor. We recently changed our olive oil packaging because the retailers didn't like it. They couldn't distinguish between the different varieties well enough on the shelf, and they said, no, we're not going to carry it. So that's pretty good motivation to go back and redesign and get it back in front of farmers market customers and listen and watch. We pick the packaging for the clientele that we're going for. Often it's the high end, and so we've chosen glass. We actually hold the package in our hand and say, how does this feel? It's a tactile thing. I mean, we really, how is it going to impact the customer? I mean, because they're going to use it. If they're going to use it, they're going to be picking it up and hanging on to it. So that's important. One of our distributors wants a less expensive product. They want the salt in a shaker, and their point that they want to work with is price. And so we're going with a plastic container with a shaker on it because that's what they want. Now that particular product we're not going to take to the fancy food show at the end of the month with us. We'll take the plastic grinder with the salt in it to the fancy food show because that's an appropriate place for that product. So packaging is, and this is a recent learning for me, that you can enter different markets, different segments of the consumer with your packaging. And just because your product has been a high-end product for over 2 decades doesn't mean you can't put it in something perceived to be not as nice and reach a whole nother market. And they'll appreciate it just as much. So I've gotten a lot less snobbish. I still have to love it, okay, but I'm perfectly willing to use a more inexpensive package to reach a different segment of the market.